Mike was over here, I thought.
No, when I was on council, it was Mike, me, Marty, Denny, Denny Paul.
Well, last I remember, Paul was over there. Mike
Right, when the new.
was-
In the short term.
Okay.
I'll try not to talk so they don't yell at me, but it was
Listen, one of these days, not too distant future, you might have that gavel and you're
Anthony,
gonna do the same thing.
Anthony Bartle started talking to me and then.
Well.
And you know,
It's
it doesn't
one
take
of
much
those
to get her
small-
started
Just
out.
tell them, just check yes. Or you know.
No, I know.
We're not going there on
I feel like I'm back in
Tuesday.
elementary school.
Yeah.
You're gonna set me in the corner.
Well, and you know what, thank you for implying, because that sets a good precedent. Other people
You got the bum chair.
can't argue if.
I tried to.
Don't argue.
I always get it.
So you approved all these on, April 7th?
Okay. Oh, we never.
I have it on
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just to
Should
get
I
it
take
done.
them then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you
Well,
want.
they were trying to get it done before
Yeah, if you want to
I didn't
review,
know.
it doesn't matter, you review.
And I don't even understand that.
No, you know, for sure today.
I have-
I have a
Yeah,
picture.
we don't
I mean, I
need
guess
to,
I kind of do some of this.
Yeah.
Our boss is cool.
Yeah, I'm fine with today.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
How you doing?
Pretty good, how are you?
I guess like once or twice a week now, we're just gonna have Gale Force in, is that how it's?
Yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed that.
It's like, the next day is beautiful and
I know.
And then
Wake up.
Thursday's gonna be good.
I know,
I
I'm
mean,
just like,
It is spring, but this seems a little
oh,
warm.
directly from the south, that's what's weird.
and it's
Yeah.
weird, like the weather like changes, it's
And the
81
wind is
degrees,
crazy.
but cold.
That's
Like,
because it's
Right.
blowing from the south to get the heat.
I know.
It's weird.
Is New Mexico still on fire?
Oh, they have a fire already?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why we're
they
smoky.
have big stuff.
That where all the cases come from?
Well, I think
I had to
so.
protect my.
I don't know where ours is from.
From the wind,
Yeah,
area around.
I think it was dust. Yesterday was really dusty. I don't know. Today you'd think it'd be worse, but it doesn't seem bad. Sunday was bad.
So what is it?
Yeah, so we.
What do you want, you're gonna do, there's an attested by.
Okay.
Janice should.
No, I attest.
Oh, you do it?
Yeah, it's said like. I will attest after you
Thank you.
sign.
About number one on this.
Right,
And
and where
where
are
are
they,
they?
where are they
Where
to
are
talk
they?
about it? Nobody.
Well,
We're just bitching back here, Jenna, don't mind us.
I said that a lot of people were complaining about number one on this agenda.
Okay,
Where are they?
number
I'm
one.
not even sure I understand what it is we're doing on number one. I've read through it.
Oh, I can fill you in.
Okay. I mean,
As I
read through it.
understand it, it's primarily just, right now, the ordinance about doing anything on your property says you can't do anything until a final, preliminary plat is approved. And so these people across the road are
Oh, this is,
because they're moving dirt.
oh,
And the same, like, say, for example, you have phases and you
Right.
approved a plat for phase two, but you need dirt from over there to fill it.
right.
You can't move dirt over there. It's illegal based on our order, so we have to make special.
So that's what I've been saying for months, so.
Yeah, so we're just gonna change it so that people aren't, we're not yelling at people. for breaking it.
I just noticed it is under the subdivision ordinance, so
Yeah,
that
some
makes more sense.
Yeah,
Okay. I hadn't noticed that.
it's basically like, why, oh, yeah.
Just so you know.
Let's start.
Yeah.
That's all we did for that. Bring them
And then we'll sign up.
We'll come back.
Yeah, of course.
I won't. The
All
sound.
right, where's our,
Sound, the same as the sound that needs to have it lost.
Let me
That's loud.
Hi, Frank.
I got that one. Okay.
Me up with Maria.
Thank you, Jenna. You're
Okay.
so organized. I would.
We got any online test scores?
Oh, Mike, are you guys, is everybody okay?
Okay, I'd like to call the
Should we
meeting
start the meeting?
of,
Give me 1 second. She's on the phone.
Just those three things.
I won't let you move it.
Frank.
he doesn't have to be.
Okay, well, we're just gonna start and then, you'll be here right at the, after the hearing. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Frank will be joining us in just a moment, but we could go ahead and start on the hearing.
All right, let us start with the calling to order of the meeting. This is a special Tuesday, April 19 meeting. So welcome, everybody. I guess we're one man down, but I don't know for sure. Anybody know if Richard's coming?
There was just a situation, I think he might have been involved in a, like, car accident,
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't think he will be coming.
Okay, let's do the pledge and then
Yeah.
we'll call roll call. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, who do we have here? Start at that end.
Lee Fralish is here.
George Keeney here.
Alan Angel is here.
Jerry Polite is here.
We're here.
And it looks like, yeah, we got a,
Jenna Viscardo, recorder.
yes, okay. So we have a tight agenda. We'll be in and out of here hopefully pretty quickly. I think these are mostly just things that came up since we just didn't have time to squeeze them in in terms of attending notice at our last meeting.
Yes.
So that's what we did.
Yes.
So we could have,
I remember that.
without that noticing period, we'd have had these done last time, so. Any conflict of interest on these three items? None. Do we have minutes to approve?
No minute.
No, okay.
No,
That would have been,
nothing's on
that would
there.
have been a speed record of some kind if you'd had last meeting's minutes already.
I wish, but they'll be on the next meeting.
All right, cool. So we're gonna do 3 public hearings. We'll do them in and out real quick. And obviously we'll take whatever comments there are in between. So the first one, I'm gonna open the hearing and then give you a quick description. This is an implementation of an exception by town council vote to all ordinances regarding excavation. If you look at there's color papers on page 5, there's some green language. We're adding in things like Ash Creek, South Central, and so on. Wait, is this the right
Yeah,
one?
no, you got the
No, I got the
wrong
wrong
one.
one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You
sorry.
skipped, you
I
skipped.
skipped one. Yeah, this one's a shorter one here. This is,
You got page 1.
Oh.
Page 2, it starts on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah,
have 2
page two.
different pages that going on here.
yeah, I think I have the
Page
wrong.
1 and then page 2. It's just right after the front one.
Wait, okay, yeah,
Uh,
one is the agenda and page 2 is the second one.
Well, I have,
So I
somebody
have
else
one.
read it off or notice the, yeah, I don't have that page.
Yeah,
You do?
Oh, I do. Oh, it's just, oh, I got you.
Did I do it wrong?
No, you're
No,
right. Okay, sorry, they're stuck together here. Here we go.
Got
It reads, notwithstanding any other provision in this title to the contrary. So that just means basically, as long as this doesn't conflict with something else, the zoning administrator shall be authorized upon affirmation vote by the town council to issue a grading permit for property not scheduled for immediate or reasonable imminent development on such terms and conditions as may be deemed necessary by the town council and so on. This basically means that it's very common when we have it, the ordinances basically read that you're not allowed to do anything on your property until you have preliminary plat finalized. That's a process. It's a significant process. Once a project could in fact get underway. And if all it simply means is that you're gonna start moving dirt, where this would particularly come into play is if you got phased in developments and you haven't yet approved preliminary plat for say phase 3, that means technically according to ordinance, you can't go over there and move dirt. But if you're already in process of phase 1 and you need some of that dirt to fill in holes, it makes no sense for us to make that illegal, basically. So you'll just have that conversation with the town administrator that you'll get the approval if it's worthy of approval from the town council, and then off you go. This basically means that we're not going to be in battles with developers once projects could very well be underway, and the only thing standing in the way is some rubber stamp of some kind. Let's let them go ahead with dirt. If you remember, by the way, we did make it clear that you're not to move dirt on property. We did that actually in a meeting not that long ago. We basically said, until all of your permits and everything are finalized, you can't move dirt. So this is basically if you need an exception to that. Does that make sense? Okay, any comments from the side over there? Anybody online want to comment on that?
it.
All right,
Show anybody.
thank you. Hearing none, let's just close the hearing on that.
Do we need to make a motion to close the hearing or do we just?
No.
close?
No, we don't close it yet.
Thank you,
It's just-
Doris. I'm just making sure.
Hey, welcome.
Hi, guys.
It's the personality, huh? You got,
He's in total
What's that?
control,
you're here, one of your several split personalities.
Yeah, one of my first.
Zoning administrator.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, well, we just discussed and didn't have any comments
That's
on
when
the
Gibbon hats, right?
first, which was the implementation of an exception for moving dirt, basically. The next one is an update to title 11.02.010 or 080 about construction drawings. There's a little bit more more than just kind of one paragraph here. Do you want me to try to make sense of these? You want to just?
No, I can do that for you. Yeah, so again, this is just primarily housekeeping. Is that these are things that are already required. But we've had enough issues with some of the developers wanting to see chapter and verse. And so we're just cleaning it up, make sure that it is exactly what it needs to be. So I'm just adding in, this talks about the construction drawings and the final plan profiles. It must be limited to the, but not limited to the following. So there's more to it. And then we're just changing the sewer district to special sewer district construction standards. And then we're adding in Ash Creek Special Service, but we should probably change the Ash Creek for just now, just call it Special Sewer District
Okay.
instead of Ash Creek, because we haven't finalized our agreement with them.
So just cross out Ash Creek.
When was that going to happen? Fairly soon, or no?
Yeah, they will be approving it this end of this month. Then there is a 2 months appeal period before, but we are working on an interlocal agreement so they can actually, by agreement, take over sooner than that.
Yeah, we need to cross that then.
But it hasn't been finalized yet, but we are working on it. So if we just take up sewer district or special sewer district construction standards.
So we did special service district construction standards.
Yeah.
Special
Okay.
sewer district.
Okay,
In
so I have
other
it
words, cross.
listed, I have it listed as Big Plains Water and Sewer Special Service
Right,
District.
we're separating those.
Okay.
So Ash Creek's gonna take over the sewer part.
So,
Yeah, we're taking sewer out of our district and adding Ash Creek shortly. But
So what are you saying number 4 needs to read? Just cross Ash Creek, cross out Ash Creek?
and it's just right, special sewer service district.
Special,
Special sewer.
It
so
says sewer
reverse those
special.
two.
I know that's what.
Yeah.
Because that-
Correct in
Either
the,
way,
on the
either
other
way.
page.
That way, that is part of Ash Creek's name.
special
Right.
sewer service district or sewer special service district?
That's right.
Special Service District, Sewer Special Service District.
This is why, this is why we make the big bucks.
Yeah, that's right.
Got it.
And then we're just adding South Central Communications because they're not in there.
Right.
We're adding them, so they're, and this is all intended to make so everybody just can see it up front for yourself. They don't have to have a special education, which seems like some of them need. So,
Many of them.
Sewer special.
and then on page 3, we're adding a new section because in a normal city, we would have a public works director once that will take over, once a preliminary plat's been approved, then it goes to the public works director, and he's the one that helps gather up all the construction plans, get them out distributed so everybody getting redlined and get them back. And then that whole process, but since we don't have anybody in-house to do that, we are contracting it out.
I love that because it's
No.
somebody's job. They
Yep.
they do it right or they're fired and they don't even have any skin in the game because they're not necessarily.
Nothing going on, we don't spend any money.
It's a.
Somebody comes in, we spend money. So we won't be spending Apple Valley's money
For a salary.
for anything
Collecting
for
the fees
salaries.
That we're gonna use to pay that person.
Right.
In the next.
Well, now, what is Dale Harris's title? Is he Public Works Director or is that? old?
They took that away,
Oh,
a little while, a short time ago.
okay.
This would
So,
have been on his plate and it would have been.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't have a problem with it, I just.
Yeah.
yeah, no, they decided that we needed to go this contract route.
Okay.
So, and I'm actually it until that. If somebody comes in tomorrow and needs to talk to a public works director, then it lands on the mayor. If it hasn't been delegated, any job lands on the mayor that hasn't been delegated. And public works director hasn't been delegated to anyone, so I'm the lucky guy for another week or two.
It was Dale Harris.
It was.
Title,
Yeah,
but,
for a little while.
When you started adding on all the things that person needed to do, he doesn't have enough hours in the day.
Right.
And a public works director is 99% paperwork.
Yeah.
It's all about gathering and distributing and watching and we need Dale in the trenches.
So,
Yeah.
how much is it paying? Then?
Yeah.
I agree. Maybe I should put it in this, huh?
Yeah.
You could do it, Lee.
I hate paperwork.
No,
Yeah,
exactly. We're gonna pay somebody that does this for a living. I mean, let's.
yeah, we have somebody we hope that will apply to the job.
Yeah. And it'll be a contract. I like it.
Right. So this whole C section here just simply adds in that now they have to come in and apply, pick up an application to have their plans reviewed and followed up through this public works consultant that we'll have. And then again, it just talks about the public works. So that's really all there is to it. But it makes it official, so we can accept an application and we can say, here, contract it out.
Okay. So I opened the hearing. Anybody have any comments on this?
No one online?
Okay.
Nothing for the peanut gallery.
I close that hearing. Thank you, Public Works Director Frank. Remind me later when we talk about this, compliment the staff for taking things that should never have been political to begin with, and moving it to some paper system. This kind of thing should never be the mayor's job.
No.
Seeing to it, the paperwork is T's or dot and whatever.
When we come back.
Anyway, we'll come back to that.
When we come back to this, let's cross Ash Creek on this. It also has Ash Creek.
Okay.
Which one has Ash Creek? Oh, the next one?
The
C.
C that we.
Oh, just go ahead and let's just take care of it now.
Oh,
Well,
okay,
we'll talk
well,
about it in the motion. 'cause
Yeah,
we
we'll
gotta-
wait till we get.
So,
we'll
yeah, but
discuss.
cross it out and put it in your motion. So any reference to Ash Creek, we'll just call it the special service sewer district.
Special sewer.
Okay, so let's open a public hearing now on the final item, which is an update to title 11.02.170. This has to do with, an ordinance, we're basically updating the how and how much, or no.
Well, this is the fee structure.
Just how we're.
So,
rather,
it talks about the
and how much
fees-
will be determined based on what's required.
Yeah, this section here just talks about that we, in the subdivision ordinance, we have a fee for a preliminary plat application fee. We're adding in, we have a fee for the construction plan review fee. And
And the final plat.
And then we're changing the final plat application fee to put that down under C. And made a few changes too, but I don't think it was a whole bunch. I don't even think there is. We just moved it down to C.
yeah, it looks like same, just moved down.
And then we crossed out the habitat conservation fee. Because that is in the process of being eliminated from our books. Tortoises don't live up here, but we've been collecting these fees from everybody. And you hand it over to St. George, to the turtle people, and they can't even live up here.
Okay.
And the reason why you charge the fee is that if there ever is a turtle, then they will defend it and they will clear it up and you can't get sued.
Yeah.
But they don't like Apple Valley, so the tortoises. So we're working on getting that removed, and that's why we're taking that out too.
Okay. Did you make the rattlesnake?
Yeah.
Did we
giant
open,
black crow feet.
did we open a hearing on that?
Yeah, I did. Any other comments on this one? Nothing? Going once? Okay, that's closed. All right. Let's take up the discussion. Why don't we just group them all together? Let's have the discussion on all three of these. And then we can do some individual motions. I don't see any problem with any of them other than some wording, with the Ash Creek, for example, on page 3 that should be stricken. I do like, I started to say, I do like the fact that things that are very, and this is, what's upon us now is a deluge of this kind of activity. There's nothing we're gonna be able to do about it. Not that we would want to, except that we wanna, whatever development does come, we want it to reflect what the town wants.
We have 1,260 lots that are coming whether we want it or not. They've been approved, don't change.
So somebody's gonna be looking at plans for 1,200 some lots over the
Yep.
foreseeable future, and the creation of a fee that we can pay to somebody professionally to do that, and it's not,
Plus,
questionable.
five or 600 transient spaces,
Yeah,
motels,
up on the hill and, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
which doesn't add up as much as a residence would for water and whatever, but still.
but all that stuff gets, well, now with the, would the long-term plan be, if commercial development happens in earnest, to have the public works director handle that too? Or is that separate somehow from residential stuff, and we need to find a different?
We haven't, no, it's the same process.
Okay.
It's the same process. But
So a mixed
we
use
haven't really
and,
worked up a fee for anything commercial yet, because there isn't a need. We'll
there
work
soon
on it.
will be, I mean, across the street here.
Right.
So, once that starts to happen, watch how quickly other hotels want to come to town,
So
so,
they got 200 hotel rooms and so
Right.
forth over there.
yeah. Not to mention, I'm sure there's retail. Yeah. Anyway, I like it.
I do have one question about that first one, grading permit.
Right.
We're giving an exception, and this is before or after they've been approved.
No, this is a generic exception, so, as it stands right now, when it comes to subdivisions and developments, they may not touch a blade of grass or dirt until all their construction plans are signed off. And they have got their final plan approved. So that whole process is rigid. I mean, that's just, of course, they just started over there. So the intent of pushing this through right now is to, if the town desires to let them finish grading on a subdivision, then they can, or start grading by using this exception. But it requires town council approval. For example, I've used it once in one of my subdivisions. It was big hills and valleys, and all 8 phases was that way. So I got my first phase approved, which was a valley. So I said, hey, how can I
Where are you gonna get dirt?
do it? So I really wanted to grade the whole thing at one time, take all 8 phases, and based upon the current code that we have, and Hurricane has too, then they couldn't do it. So I was able to get my blade and my dozers out there and take the mountains and move them into the valleys and do the whole thing terraced the way it needed to be. So that's really the intent of this right here. In rare exceptions, like mine right there, then you could do that. It's not designed that they could go up and climb up the hillside and do a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
But this allows the council, if they feel there is a need and it's valid, then they can do it.
But they've already got at least approval for phase 1.
Well,
Where they have a developer agreement.
but they don't even have to have approval for phase 1. This is one the council can use anytime they so desire, if there was a need for it.
Okay.
But without this paragraph, no matter how much they want, they can't. They have to
Right.
have their construction plans completely approved. And even that means in my case, I would have to do all eight
That's
phases
all approved.
approved,
Right.
pay all the application fees just to be able to do that. So this is why Hurricane put that in there, so that allowed them to, on a very limited basis, to do this. And we felt like it was important to help Jefferson Canyon out if they needed to be able to.
Well, and it also allow, I mean, on the other end of it is I think it strengthens the rules against, like, we have that in place so that road, you're just not out there getting started long before the process is finished. And so we can say to them, listen, there's a process where you can get approval to do that.
Mhm.
If it's really that important to you,
Right.
but, make your case. And if you don't have a good case, then let's finish the approval process and then you get there.
Well, I guess that's my question is, now you've moved all the dirt and come in for approval and get turned down.
Good.
What happens in that case?
Well,
That's a lawsuit.
I mean, a town, in my case, I go in and get my first, get preliminary plat for the entire subdivision.
Okay, you're saying.
And then you start each phase with your construction
But
plan.
you've got preliminary.
But I got preliminary plat on the
Okay.
entire subdivision first.
That's the way I should have phrased the question.
Yeah, so that's how you do it. You wouldn't go, I would never consider granting somebody a grading permit if we don't even know what they're gonna do.
Right.
If it isn't approved.
Right.
But in my case, all 8 phases was approved, and I've just gotten construction plans for the first phase.
I'm.
And so that's the type of scenario where you would use this. But we are working on that other ordinance, that grading ordinance that we wanted to clean up and adopt, so.
Did we? Oh, yeah, you guys went.
We
down to
tabled
town
it.
Council meeting.
No, I think it got sent back.
I remember we talked.
We had some discussion.
We moved it forward from planning commission, went to town council. There was too many questions that they wanted to answer, so they actually kicked it back to
So
planning
we'll talk
commission.
about it next. Okay.
Yeah, we'll put it on the agenda when we have time. It's not a
I
critical.
think it's table for May, because anything that gets rolled over, I'm supposed to roll it over to the next meeting. At least so that we can discuss and then decide.
Right.
If it's been tabled.
Yeah, it was,
Does that affect projects that are in progress when you change the ordinances? Do they fall under the old ones, or do they get to remove themselves up to the new one?
Well, would it be their choice in that case, or? No,
no, once somebody has been, they're grandfathered in.
but I'm saying if the new ordinance was more
If this
favorable,
is
then
more lenient, can they?
Well, that's the
say,
case
well,
of what's
I-
happening across the street. This
Right.
section,
No,
they
that's
could come and
what I'm
say,
saying. We could say, well, your project was approved before this, and it doesn't matter.
we could.
But see, in their particular case, they want this. And we wanted to show our will that we wanted to cooperate with you,
So
And-
we'll allow them.
allow them to do that, but then you gotta do what we want, which is follow our ordinances.
but they don't have a preliminary plat.
They don't have preliminary plat.
They
But
have
there
a-
is a provision in the plan development ordinance I found that says that if, no, it says, it's a reverse psychology. It says, under no circumstances may they move any dirt until they have received their final plan, which is master plan, the zone change.
Okay.
So
they've
it
got
doesn't
that.
say that they necessarily can, but it says under no circumstances are you allowed to move any dirt until you got your master plan approved, got your zone change. And that's the only thing we have that even kind of falls back on. But this here will allow the town council to say, okay, you can do this, this, and this
Right.
pertaining to excavation.
That makes sense. I mean, it's pretty hard to write an ordinance that it's all
Right.
possibilities. The one we have, I think now is pretty fair on all sides.
Yeah.
And, for the most part, we don't need to do it, but you make a good case, town council has.
Yep.
3 positive votes, then off you go. And I would, now. Does it, if the town council votes yes, does that compel the public works person to let them move dirt, or is that still up to that person to make the comments?
Well, this talks about the zoning administrator.
Zoning administrator.
Yeah, zoning administrator will, shall be authorized, but only upon permission from the council.
Right, but I'm just wondering.
So then it will go to
Imagine a
Public
case
Works.
where-
It'll be overseen, the actual work will be overseen by Public Works. Planning only takes things to approval stage. And then from there on, it's Public Works.
Yeah.
All the way through, until we get to the final plat. Then planning takes over again and make sure that all the signatures get taken care of and all the bonding is in place and in order to record and the title report is submitted and reviewed. And then it goes to the town attorney for recordation.
I love it. Process.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, anybody, what about the other ones? Anybody have comments on the other ones?
I'm good
All
on
right.
it.
I mean, I suppose it's possible if you want to make a motion, anybody to approve all three as written with the updates. That's doable.
Did we remove Ash Creek from everything?
Yes,
Yeah, I believe so.
but still mention it. Or do it separately if you want. I don't care. Whichever's easier. I have no question.
I mean,
You may wanna, any one of those where there's changes, you definitely wanna take it separate, so you outline the changes.
Okay.
Do them separate.
Do it
So
separate.
it's, there's a link.
So I make a motion, to approve the excavation addition, the grading permit for 11.02.190. Anyone second it?
I'll second.
Any more discussion on that? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Jerry, you're on a roll.
So the next one on page 5. The black page number
Oh, yeah. Item 5.
Number 4, we removed Ash Creek. We agreed on that.
Mhm.
And then the next
Change it
page,
to special sewer
yeah,
district.
special sewer service district.
Yes, that's fine.
What do you mean? Special sewer,
No, we're gonna leave it sewer special, because that's our, how it's already,
okay.
that's how he said it. Sewer special, right? Or do you want it special sewer? I just need to know.
Well, a special service district is the normal way to say it, right?
Let's just
Yeah.
let's get rid of sewer.
Special service.
Slip in the number there, the 1102.
Okay, so if we keep sewer special service district, the line number 3 above has to be added. It has a red line through it. So we need to,
You talking about the Big Plains part?
No,
no,
big thing.
Big Plains and sewer special service district
Yeah,
construction
we're
standards.
crossing out the.
No, the number, we're adding number 4 to replace. number 5.
Well, I'm,
Oh, okay, okay.
So it used to be together, now they're
Yeah.
separate, water and sewer. So
Yeah, we're splitting them into two different.
we're
can
gonna-
someone just confirm with me what we're gonna change it, because I'm really confused.
Sewer, special service district.
Okay, and then on number 3,
We leave it as it is.
Leave it.
Big Plains Water,
We
Special
remove,
service district.
got it.
It shows up again on under letter C.
Page 3.
Page
Yeah.
Just make sure it
Same-
says.
same
On line
thing.
C,
Says the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same thing.
got it. Okay, I'm completely confident on the motion too.
Do
Did you
read the
finish your
number
vote?
though.
do you?
Read it, yeah, if you just read the update.
On C.
To,
So we're gonna.
no. Let me make your motion.
One little change on
Oh,
C,
okay,
Just the number.
okay.
one little correction on C.
Mhm.
I think we should say, and upon approval of the application by the Public Works Director or consultant.
Okay,
Because we may have a director someday, but right now it's a consultant.
And then
So put them both in there, director or consultant.
Or consultant.
consultant.
including the public,
And same thing, the next one. Including the public works director or consultant.
Under H.
Under C,
C.
further down on C, and also on H,
On age also.
public works director or consultant, who shall then review and
Yeah, make sure we do that.
I corrected it and I'll share my paperwork with her.
Okay.
Okay, let's try the emotion again, just to make sure we're on. the same page here.
Okay, so I move to make a motion to approve the updated title 11.02.080 for construction drawings to remove Ash Creek and keep sewer special service district. And then we're going to add next to public works director or consultant in 3 different places on C,
And H.
C and H. Isn't that a sugar? Anybody take a second?
Addition to that, we are forwarding it to the town council.
Yes.
And I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Those, in favor say aye. Aye.
I,
Opposed? Alright. And then finally, we have an amendment to.
so the same thing there on B, public works director or consultant.
Okay. Do I have a motion? I'll do it. I'd like to make a motion that we approve, that we pass on to the town council for approval, the update as written to 11.02.170 with the addition of the word work consultant wherever public works.
I second that motion.
Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Passes. Do I have a final motion of the evening?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
This wasn't enough of a night out.
Yeah, really.
Sorry.
One more
We tried to
time.
drag it